Welcome back. Thank you so much for joining us. Quickly, we move to our discussion segment. Of course, it's still, concerning the violence in Benue. So today, we're tackling a heart-wrenching issue that affects us all, Nigerians' national security, the pain of loss. The pain of attack and the uncertainty of tomorrow have become a harsh reality for many Nigerians. Now imagine waking up to the sound of gunfire, seeing loved ones taken away by bandits, or fleeing your home with nothing but the clothes on your back. This is the reality for many. Lilian?
All right. Now, unfortunately, according to recent reports by SBM Intelligence and the Global Terrorism Index, it estimates over 35,000 people have been killed in violent conflict between 2018 and 2023 alone. The recent attack in Yelwata, Benue State, which claimed over 200 lives, is a grim reminder of the human cost of insecurity. The victims were mothers, children, fathers, friends, each of them with dreams, hopes, and aspiration, and even hopes for Nigeria that one day the country would be a better place for them to excel. Now, their deaths leave behind a trail of grief, pain, and uncertainty. Now, according to reports, over 3 million Nigerians have been displaced due to conflict and insecurity, with many living in IDP camps without access to basic necessities. For instance, in Borno State, the insurgency has resulted in destruction of infrastructure, loss of livelihoods, and a significant decline in economic activity. Now, joining us this morning to take a look at the gaps in Nigeria's national security and understanding the human cost of insecurity, we'll have Jonathan Onoja, a renowned security expert and author, a public intellectual, and a public policy strategist. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Lilian.
So much
it's
for
my
coming
pleasure.
today.
Thank you, Maimuna, for having me here.
I would have loved to start the conversation weighing your thoughts on, what is happening in Benue and all. But you know what? Let's just move the story forward. We've seen the number. Over 35,000 lives between 2018 and 2023. We've not added 2024 and 2025 to that list just yet, but we have over 35,000. What would you say is the root cause that has not been addressed of this incessant insecurity, or is it beyond what Nigeria can handle at this point?
Well, first, I'm from Benue State, of course, And then while I want to talk about our national security, I want to also first use the opportunity to send my condolences to the families of victims of the Yelwata carnage, the genocide that's happening in Benue State. Talking about our national security, honestly, with what is happening across the state today, it's a protracted tragedy that should be better imagined, and that has reflected these deeper wounds on every Nigerian on the street, across the state, the uncertainty, the insecurity. There is no hope for the next second. There is no hope for the next minute. People walk on the street, afraid of even to go back to their houses. It's quite unfortunate that in the 21st century, we still have people in IDPs. That's how bad our national security, the Nigerian state, has become. And unfortunately, it does not reflect well with the renewed hope agenda of His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. It undermines his words, his spoken words. It undermines his person. It undermines his action for a better Nigeria. The aspirations, the hope for a better Nigeria can only be achieved when there is stability, when there is security, and when there is economic stability. Above all, there must be hope, and there must be certainty, and there must be sure guarantee for true governance. And so when we do not have all of these things, then where's the renewed hope agenda of His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu? I have seen him in various platforms making attempts to bring back the hope of Nigerians. But you wake up every day in this country to a new development. And while I also want to wait patiently to dive into the Benue killings, the Northeast, the Northwest, the Southeast. In a country in Nigeria today, you'll be surprised that certain actors have taken it upon themselves and have declared that Mondays or particular days in certain areas, nobody goes to the market. This has undermined our national security and has portrayed us in the bad light before the international community. Actors who decides what happened in the state, and over the years, the government have been unable to tackle these issues headlong. It's a failure on the part of governance. It's also a failure on leadership process. And that's why I've encouraged Nigerians to now take it upon themselves to bring symposiums on leadership recruitment. Who are those that we are going to place at the helm of affairs? Who are those we should elect to represent us? Would they actually represent the yearnings and the aspirations of Nigerians? Do they really reflect the true history of what our heroes, the founding fathers, want for a better Nigeria? Do they actually want the betterness of Nigeria? Do they actually want the true prosperity and progress of our people? In Nigeria, that we have all the security formation, in less than 33.3 kilometers to Kuje prison. In Nigeria, where we have the almighty presidential villa, less than 33.3 kilometers to the Kuje prison. In Nigeria, where we have all the formations of the National Intelligence Agency, the Department of State Security Services, the Almighty War College, and also the Nigerian Police Headquarters, all aligning themselves less than 33.4 kilometers to Kuje prison. Yet we had people break into a prison facility, release inmates, free them, and also have time to have prayer section. This is a slap on our national security. And it bleeds my heart that we praise our heroes. It bleeds my heart that we speak so much of our intelligence agencies that can go all along to bring people like Nnamdi Kanu back to this country. We have the Interpols that can actually intercept great people, that can also actually intercept people like me too, that can actually intercept people like you.
All right.
But why is it that it is quite unfortunate that these people, these Interpols, this intelligence that we talk so much high of, cannot actually go to Benue State, go to Zamfara State, go to Borno State, and bring the perpetrators to book? It's actually a falling part on our national history, and we have never had it so bad like this. It bleeds my heart that I have to speak on this subject matter.
Okay, so you just, it is really touchy, trust me. So let's hear from you in Nigerians' intelligence gathering capacity. Is it sufficient enough to, to help anticipate and prevent attacks in Nigeria? Because we have lots of, security agencies that are, their jobs are to, make sure that there is enough security in other states in Nigeria and other parts in Nigeria. So do you think that capacity is enough?
It is about the people. The best of intelligence lies with the natives. And so when you need intelligence, you also have to open up to the natives. Then I ask you the same question. How good has our intelligence agencies been able to utilize and cooperate with the natives, with the citizen, for intelligence sharing, information sharing, intelligence gatherings? The same natives that they ought to protect and get this intelligence from are the same natives that have become the victims of their own doings. So how do we now begin to go back to our intelligence agencies? Our intelligence agencies have collapsed. Our intelligence agency has also told Nigerians that, look, the first line of defense has actually broken down. So we leave it to you for self-defense. And then the question is, do we truly have self-defense in this country? What is the context for self-defense? In a real operation of self-defense, it then means that you can kill in the process. That is what self-defense means. And then even in self-defense too, it then means that you will not sleep. You have to be at work at 2, 3 a.m. and be in your house, that nobody will come and break into your house. That is what self-defense is. Will you be asleep and also defend themselves? The answer is no. So the concept of self-defense should not be at the moment. Rather, we should begin to use the all-round approach to bring in the people, entrusting them, and also carrying out an art that will make the people to believe you today. In our current Nigeria, how are the police being trusted? And that's why we have not been able to have an effective community policing. Because what is community policing? It is the community versus the police. And so the moment that you do not trust the police, how do you now have that effective communication between you and the police? And that's why we resorted to neighborhood watch. The reason being that a neighborhood approach, you know the people that comes into the society, into the community, from where, to whose house, and then they go to confirm. Somebody came to your house around 2 a.m. last night. Who is the person? Give us the identity of the person. How long is the person going to stay? What is he coming to do? And where is he coming from? That is the neighborhood approach. But the community policing, that should not make you to tell the police. We saw somebody that came in around 1 a.m. yesterday. He was with the headers. We don't know their definition. We don't know what they're actually up to. That same people that have come to entrust their lives, give you this information, become the victims of the next attack. You know why? The next corporal or the sergeant or the DPO or the commissioner or the AIG, the DIG or the IG that is also involved in this business will be the one to tell the people, be careful, for the people are also aware. And so we cannot continue to talk about our national security, our safety, without talking about those that are representing us or those that are actually appointed or elected to represent us.
All right, let's move the story forward. Let's find a solution. Moving forward, where can we find a solution? Because you spoke about intelligence. I like how you gave it a two-side, which made absolute sense. The intelligence we have that can extradite Nnamdi Kanu from wherever he is and bring him back to Nigeria. We have that intelligence. It's almost like it's a selective intelligence when it's time to work. So where are we missing it at this point, and what can be done? Do we need an entire shift and change in the entire security down to the corporal in the local government area? What exactly do we need? Mind you, we saw in, not just on TV to say it's a propaganda. We saw a video, with a very dark man when he visited the committee and they commended the police, saying that, the police really did try, but they attacked the police station first before they came to them, and they tried their best in defending them. So that I took that, I was like, okay, this is for coming from the committee members, this might just be a +1. So where are we lacking in this intelligence gathering? Why do we have it selective, and what is the way forward? What can we do to make sure that policies implemented to protect lives shift from paper to actualization?
All right, thank you, Lilian, again for this question. And like I said, I'm sober answering to some of these questions. But I have muzzle up to attend to this constituency. It is a call to duty, and I must continue to do what is right. Now, in answering this your question, I must say that our over-centralized security architecture is a bigger problem.
Yeah.
And then it's also quite unfortunate that the people who are helpless, that do not have anything to say, have nothing to say than to commend the police. Otherwise, why are we reactive until people are killed? Why must we be reactive? Where were those police? Where mothers were killed in their sleep, children were killed in their sleep, youths with big aspirations and dreams were killed in their sleep. Have you seen the videos of those people that were killed? Did you see how they were killed? Did you see how they were born beyond recognition? And we are giving commendations to the police. Where were the police? Where is the government that ought to protect them? We have given it all to the government to protect us. Why is it that this government has failed in their responsibility? Where is the police that are supposed to be mounted there 24 hours to protect the people while they are sleeping? Is that not the contract between us and the government? Is that not what the governor took oath for? Why has he failed to utilize the security vote? Why has he failed to protect the people? But I'm very sure, I'm very certain that the lives of these innocent children, the life of these young mothers, the people who they have made orphans, will not go unpunished. The government must wake up to their responsibility. They have failed us for too long, and we cannot continue to weep helplessly in a state that ought to protect us. Why should the governor continue to blame people in the Federal Capital Territory who has done many things to support the government? You blame people in the Abuja for sponsoring security. And what stops you in the state from protecting security, to protect the people? Did you see how the police were dispatched strictly to disperse peaceful protesters, shoot peaceful protesters in Benue State? What happened to these proactive measures? If we have all the capacity to deploy, to disperse peaceful protesters, and then what happened? If the people are to be killed, why can't we stop it? If we have intelligence, why have we decided to ignore this intelligence? Lilian, Maimuna, the country, Benue State in particular, is actually not a state to talk about. The insensibility of the governor, the incapacity of the governor, is something that we cannot talk about. We have had states that have gone through this or before, but there were solutions.
Okay.
What is the solution? What is the hope for tomorrow?
So what is the hope for tomorrow?
It's quite unfortunate that the people in Benue State are under the government, under the current governor, Alia, has no hope. This morning, he continued to blame the people. Were the people wrong for electing you? We were made to believe that people that came from the religious background are the people that have the most feelings for humanity. Mm-hmm. But here, the gentle Reverend Father has failed man and God. Not just not to protect, but he continued to give blames. And so, with the blames, and even blaming the people, where is the hope for the tomorrow? For the people. The governor continued to undermine the people. Well, we have over 200 people killed. He will tell it's 59. And I do not actually know why Mr. President has continued to talk about visiting the state when he could actually be here. Yes, it's good to commiserate with the people. But what stops you? You give one directives. These directives were not honored. You told us that you have given directives, and again there were killings, and you're talking about our new directives. What happened in Rivers State was just a mere political issue. Lives were not lost the way we are living. People are killed today. Akpa to be on 15th April 2025, we buried loved ones. I was there to commiserate with the people. The people were helpless. They were hopeless. There's no hope again. And then we did not look at anything to do. Why not we declare a state of emergency that ought to be done and restore normalcy back to the state? If the essence of the state emergency is not to dispose the governor, but is to restore normalcy first and bring every party on table. And then we cannot talk about our security. What happened in Rivers State up to now are shaping the thinking of the people. No doubt, Rivers State today, that Fubara is back, he knows how to manage the state better. Right. So what will stop us to make the same thing happen in Benue State? Because I've come to realize that the democratic setting we are talking about, democracy, it will not actually in democratic setting. What is the true dividends of democracy now, as it is for the people of Benue State? So it is time for Mr. President, and I challenge him that if we can declare a state of emergency in Rivers State to restore normalcy, I challenge him to do the same in Benue State. He can do better and avoid the continuous directives that has not stopped the problem. I challenge him to declare the state of emergency in Benue State and to drop sentiment and drop political affiliations aside. The people's life matters to him. Otherwise, there is no hope in the Renew Hope agenda.
Mr. Onoja, thank you so much for sharing, that very insightful thoughts there. It's really sad. It's really, really devastating. So we're still looking ahead, okay? I mean, it's happening already, but we need to look ahead. We need to look at, possible solutions, just like what Lilian said. So I would love to hear from you in your own view. What really is the single most urgent security reform that needs to be implemented to help solve all of this, nation insecurity, violence everywhere? Because trust me, other states and other people are watching. They really want to see, okay, maybe they also have their own plans to, start up something in their own state. But how this one is being tackled will help manage any other one that is coming up in other states.
I have actually talked to you about decentralizing our over-centralized security architecture, which is going to be a solution, because the governor continue to tell you that they don't have, the power over the CP, they don't have power over the formations as an excuse. These same governors have powers when it is time for 2027. They're already going around. There will be nothing. They will have to get their re-election. That's what they wanted. So fine. When we decentralize this, we have actually ignored one very important aspect of our security building, and that is the traditional rulers. Unfortunately, our constitution did not recommend or actually recognize them. You understand? But they have a very important role in the lives of the people that they rule over. So when we are going to decentralize these security formations, we decentralize it into even districts and ward, right? So when we come to the local government, it is up to the local government, right, to now take responsibility of the people under the local government, and then we hold to account all the formations, including the traditional rulers, the world leaders in the various clans. If that is done, there will be no excuse of, I have not heard from the Oga at the top, as it is now in tradition. We're yet to get the confirmation from the first secretary, as it is yet now the tradition of the CPs and all of that. So when the governor have right over the people to dispatch, then we reduce these excuses, right? Then, another thing again that we must look into is the utilization of the security votes. That is one thing I charged the EFCC to wake up. In investigating the state governors, unfortunately, they will tell you they are still under immunity. An immunity that the people continue to die under an immunity. What is this immunity? How many Nigerians have this immunity? Does that mean, what that means is that you are encouraging corruption once you are in power. That is what the immunity means. Because you can't be challenged while you are still in power. And so, now, even after out of power, we still see that these people buy their way out. I am not trying to talk about any case that is in court. Well, we have a governor within the central state that is not central, that after his office, they pursue him today. Where is he? He's out. And it's already dancing to the tune of whatever, nothing is happening. On your mandate to stand. So now, let us decentralize this thing. Let the people also begin to see and hold to account the governors. Bring to the dashboard how you utilize the security votes. For instance, in Benue, where you're taking over 3 billion naira monthly, you can't even fuel the motorcycles of these people of the commands. There is no even structures. I spoke with a DPO that just said it's just a few days ago they bought him Tokumbo tires. So the local government chairman, if they are actually giving the true votes that they ought to be given, I'm talking about funds now, then we cannot begin to hold them to account. But the local government chairman that we're talking about, how far has this government been able, even disagreeing with the institution that make them, and that is the Supreme Court order, that there should be local government autonomy? How far? Have you seen the greediness of our governors? Have you seen how wicked we are to ourselves? And even if other governors seems to be wicked to themselves, why not we have a man who say he represents God? Give it to the people. So it's just politics. It's all politics.
Mr. Jonathan, thank you so much.
Thank you, Madam
for making
Lilian.
our
It's
time.
quite unfortunate.
It's quite
so much for
unfortunate.
coming,
It's quite disheartening. It's quite heartbreaking, and it's scary at the same time because if that is happening, there's really no, how safe do you feel as a Nigerian in the comfort of your home? Doesn't matter where you are, be it the nation's capital, wherever. It will someday get to you. So if as a Nigerian you choose to sit and keep quiet, or sit out from the voting process, or sit out from the process of holding your leaders accountable, one day it will get to you. If you think that taking a mudu of rice or a bag of salt will last you for the 16 or 8 years a government or a party or an administration chooses to be in power, one day it will touch you. And the prayer is, may Nigeria not happen to you, because if it does, you will understand what the people who are currently in the situation are going through. So let's try and hold our leaders accountable the best way we can. We're going on a quick break. When we get back, we'll be taking a look at stories that made it to the front pages of selected dailies. Do stay tuned, we'll be right back.